Prepare to discover a version of Noah's Ark that most people have never heard about. For centuries, this account was treated mainly as a story of faith. But modern research in archaeology, naval engineering, and ancient texts is revealing something extraordinary. The Ark wasn't just a massive boat. It was an incredibly sophisticated engineering project. When specialists began analyzing it as a real structure, with dimensions, internal layout, logistics, ventilation, and survival systems, new questions emerged, and the answers are astonishing. How could 8 people care for nearly 7,000 animals for more than a year? How did they feed, hydrate, organize, and maintain everything without modern technology? And how could such a large vessel survive colossal storms, tons of daily waste, and the need for purified water, all without engines, pumps, or machinery? Evidence points to clever, practical solutions that anticipate sustainable engineering concepts we only rediscovered in recent times. In this video, you won't just see the myth, but how the Ark could have actually worked in practice. The Bible gives precise measurements: 135 meters long, 22.5 meters wide, 13.5 meters high. This places the Ark in the size range of a modern cargo ship, with surprisingly stable proportions. Its 6-to-1 length-to-width ratio is still considered one of the safest shapes for surviving giant waves and open ocean storms. Military ships and oil tankers use a similar ratio today. Yet the Ark applied it thousands of years before naval engineering even existed. And all of this was built with simple tools: no industrial saws, no lifting machinery, no heavy infrastructure. A colossal project, constructed far from the sea, powered only by faith and human labor. The Ark was not just a giant box. Studies indicate that it likely used structural techniques similar to those found in modern ships: longitudinal and transverse beams for torsional strength, a cellular internal layout, much like the compartments of today's cargo vessels, distributing weight and preventing local damage from compromising the entire structure. A coating of bitumen, a naturally waterproof resin still used in construction and traditional boats worldwide. The bitumen also added flexibility to the hull, allowing the Ark to absorb the violent impact of waves without cracking. A common misconception is imagining that the Ark carried every species we see today. But the biblical text does not mention species. It mentions kinds, ancestral groups capable of producing many species over time. For example, a single ancestral pair could eventually give rise to dogs, wolves, coyotes, foxes, and other canids. Research suggests there were around 1,000 basic kinds. With one pair of each, that equals 2,000 animals. Including the clean animals, taken in 7 pairs, we reach an estimated total of around 6,800 animals. This number fits comfortably within the Ark's internal volume. Additionally, many were juveniles, much smaller and easier to feed. Insects didn't need to be taken aboard. Marine animals remained in the water. The Ark functioned more like an ancestral genetic library, not a modern zoo. The Ark had 3 decks, each with very specific roles. Keycap 1 lower deck, large animals, placed near the center of gravity for maximum stability. Keycap 2 middle deck, medium-sized animals, easy access for cleaning and daily care. Keycap 3 upper deck, small animals and birds, more natural light and ventilation. Herbivores, carnivores, reptiles, and amphibians were separated strategically, reducing conflicts and simplifying maintenance. Reptile and amphibian zones likely use simple methods of temperature and humidity control, creating natural microclimates. Another key detail: most animals probably entered the Ark on their own, guided by migration instincts or, as the text states, divine direction. This made it possible for only 8 people to receive thousands of creatures. One of the most intriguing questions: how do you feed nearly 7,000 animals every single day? Research points to a simple but brilliant system: ceramic jars with controlled openings, placed above the enclosures. They release food gradually, functioning like primitive automatic feeders, massively reducing daily labor. Food storage. To survive more than a year, The Ark relied on traditional, effective preservation methods: sun-drying, dry storage areas, airtight containers. The diet was simple but sufficient: grains, hay, seeds, dried fruits, dehydrated vegetables. Ancestral animals had far less specialized diets than their modern descendants, making universal feeding more feasible. When we analyze all these elements, precise dimensions, stable engineering, internal compartments, waterproofing, animal logistics, microclimates, and semi-automated feeding systems, the Ark stops looking like a mere religious symbol. It becomes a monumental project, built with intelligence, strategy, and techniques far more advanced than expected for the ancient world. A true floating laboratory, capable of sustaining life under extreme conditions for more than a year. Perhaps the greatest lesson is not only about the flood itself, but how this account brings together faith, ingenuity, and survival in one of the most unique projects in human history.